Most people dream about a better life. They promise themselves that they will start on Monday. Then Monday comes and they say, maybe next week. They wait for the perfect time. They wait for motivation to suddenly appear. Days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. But everything stays the same. Deep inside, they wonder why nothing is changing, even though they truly want a better future. But what if they have been waiting for the wrong thing all along? What if success has nothing to do with motivation? In Japan, there is a simple way of thinking called Kaizen. The idea is easy to understand. You do not try to change your whole life in one day. You just make one small improvement today, then another tomorrow, and keep going. At first, those tiny steps do not seem important, but over time, they begin to grow into something much bigger. To understand how this really works, let's follow the story of one ordinary person whose life slowly changed because of one small step each day. Meet Kenji, an ordinary office worker with a simple life. Every morning he woke up tired and rushed to work. By the time he got home, he felt too tired to do anything else. He wanted to learn new skills, get healthier, and build a better future for himself. He often made big plans and promised that this time would be different. He started reading books, exercising, and learning new things. But after a few days, he always stopped. No matter how many times he tried, he could never keep going, and each time he gave up, he felt a little more disappointed. Kenji believed the problem was that he was not strong enough. One week he decided to wake up early every morning. For a few days he did well, but then he went back to sleeping late. Next, he joined a workout plan and felt excited at first. He even bought books because he wanted to learn and improve himself, yet most of them stayed on the shelf after only a few pages. Every new start ended the same way. After failing again and again, Kenji stopped blaming his plans. He started blaming himself. He looked in the mirror and quietly thought, maybe I just don't have enough discipline. One afternoon during a break at work, Kenji sat quietly, looking tired and frustrated. An older coworker noticed and asked what was wrong. Kenji smiled a little and admitted that no matter how hard he tried, he could never stick to his plans. The older man listened for a moment, then said, don't change your whole life. Change one tiny thing. The words were short and simple, but they stayed in Kenji's mind. For the first time, he wondered if his problem was not a lack of discipline. Maybe he had been trying to change too much, too fast. That single sentence gave him a completely new way of thinking. The next morning, Kenji decided not to make another big plan. He remembered the advice and chose something so small that it almost felt too easy. Instead of trying to exercise for a full hour, he told himself he would do it for just 2 minutes. No more than that. He stretched, did a few simple movements, and then stopped. It did not feel like a big success, but for the first time, he finished exactly what he had planned. 2 minutes did not change his body that day, but it changed something much more important. He finally believed that he could keep a promise to himself. Kenji slowly began to understand why small steps mattered. He thought about building a house. No one can build a whole house with just one brick. One brick by itself does not look important, but if you place one brick every day and never stop, a strong home will slowly take shape. The same is true for our habits. One small action may not seem to change anything today, but when you keep doing it day after day, those small actions become something much bigger. That is how real change begins. As the days passed, Kenji noticed that this simple idea worked in every part of his life. For his health, he did not force himself to finish long workouts. He just exercised a little every day and his body slowly became stronger. For learning, he read only a few pages instead of trying to finish a whole book. Before long, he had learned more than he ever expected. At work, he looked for one small way to do his job better each day. He learned one new skill, fixed one small mistake, or found one better way to finish a task. None of these changes seemed important on their own, but together they slowly changed the way he lived and worked. Kenji started thinking about two people who both wanted a better life. The first person kept waiting for motivation. Every week, he made a new plan, but he never stayed with it for long. The second person did something much simpler. He tried to become just a little better each day. Some days the progress was so small that no one even noticed it. But he never stopped. Months passed and those tiny improvements began to add up. By the end of the year, the difference was easy to see. One person was still waiting for the perfect time to begin, while the other had quietly built a better life, one small step at a time. 5 years passed, and Kenji's life looked very different. He was healthier than before because he had never stopped taking small steps to care for himself. He felt more confident because he had kept the promises he made to himself, one day at a time. At work, people trusted him because he had spent years learning and improving little by little. Looking back, Kenji understood that his life did not change because of one big decision or one lucky day. It changed because of thousands of small choices that seemed unimportant at the time, but slowly built the life he had always wanted. As Kenji looked back on his journey, he realized that everything he had achieved came from following 3 simple rules. First, he always started with something so small that it felt easy to do. That made it almost impossible to fail. Second, he repeated that small action every day, even when he was busy or did not feel motivated. Finally, if he ever missed a day, he did not give up. He simply started again the next day and kept moving forward. These rules were simple, but they helped him stay consistent. And that consistency changed his life, one small step at a time. Kenji's story shows that real success does not appear overnight. It grows little by little through small actions that are repeated every single day. A tiny step may not seem important today, but over time, those small steps can change your whole life. The future you want does not begin with one big moment. It begins with the small choice you make today. Maybe your own 1% starts right now. And if you enjoyed Kenji's journey, stay with us for the next story, where we'll discover another simple Japanese life lesson that can make a big difference in everyday life.